What's going on, guys? It's your boy, John the Liquidator, coming back with breaking news, hot off the press. Lisa Bluder sat down and did an exclusive interview with Sarah Spain to talk about the Caitlin Clark phenomena, the Caitlin Clark mania, and where do we go from here? Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Iowa. Let's get it. Let's go. Guys, you want to know what's so crazy about all of this is that, Lisa Bluder spoke about in this interview that we're going to go over and react to. She spoke about why she really retired. And there was a bunch of stuff I never knew. Like, we never knew her daughter had got married. We never knew that, you know what I'm saying? She really didn't like the collectives with the NIL, which I know a lot of coaches in college that didn't like it. Because I remember when the NIL mania first blew up, I was one of the guys that was all over it, especially on the football side. It was around the time recruits was getting big-time money in football, such as Shador and Travis Hunter, multi-million-dollar deals, and right behind them, Arch Manning came, and Caitlin got a super special deal. Angel Reese, no, we don't like her, but we got to talk about her bag. She got a crazy NIL deal, and I think those reasons catapulted a lot of coaches to want to leave the sport, like your Nick Sabans, like your Lisa Bluder. These things that was set to change the direction of collegiate sports, which it ultimately did, led to a lot of these big name coaches retiring, bro, because they wanted no parts of it. Now, I never knew that Lisa Bluder was on that bandwagon to where she didn't like the collective. She didn't like any of that stuff. I'm here to tell you, she spoke about it. Now, one thing she did spoke about it was the catapult into the Caitlin Clark mania. I like to call it the Caitlin Clark hype. I was a part of that too. I witnessed it all. Her that sophomore year, she exploding on the internet. Caitlin Clark breaking that damn scoring record, set a trail of fire throughout the sports world. No college player, I believe, in this decade or before has the hype that Caitlin Clark had. That's any sports in the world. Caitlin Clark was on a trajectory we've never seen before from male or female athlete. I can tell you this. I witnessed it. I covered it. She had the chance, which I still believe she do, not just as much. She had the chance to do something no other collegiate player has done. Now, my thoughts about all of this is, did Caitlin Clark ever want the attention? See, we all sit here and we all hype Caitlin Clark. We all make videos. We all tweet about her. But we never put ourselves in Caitlin's shoes. Did Caitlin Clark want people like John the Liquidator making 100-some videos about her? Did she want people like Ken Swift and all of these other people like Correlation to tweet about her every day, all day long? Did she want this? Is the question. I don't know. And the only person that can answer that is Caitlin Clark herself, because judging the atmosphere of everything, I don't think she did. But let's jump right into this, man. Let's head on over to Apple Podcasts. We're going to be listening to this. This is on Apple Podcasts here. This is Sarah Spain. And this is her interviewing her. Good game with Sarah Spain. She gets some good interviews. It's a point here that I want to rewind us back to real quick. And we're going to chop through this. We're going to run our way through this, I should say. We're not going to listen to the whole 45-minute thing, but it's segments I want to play. But let's
from Stanford, and just finding out, what they were thinking, and just seeing, first of all, okay, Caitlin Clark's graduating. So, okay, and we're just playing in the last 2 championships games. Not a bad time to leave the game.
Go out on top.
But also just some of the changes that were going on within the college game were not something that I really embraced. And I thought, it's just a good time to leave.
We've heard that a lot from coaches that have been in the game a long time, and I think it's easy to be cynical and say it's coaches who want the power of a player that doesn't have the ability to transfer or doesn't have NIL. But to me, it actually feels like when you dive deeper in, there is a transformative change to the job of the coach, who now becomes essentially a GM, especially with House versus NCAA, having to dole out almost a salary cap style idea of what they're going to pay the players and how the team is going to interact with, the player financially. But also
now, they're talking about NIL and the current state of NIL. Now, when I was covering college sports full time, they had won a lawsuit the NCAA did, and like every school was awarded, like they think like 20-some million. Guys, do not hold me on this, but every school was like awarded 20-some million for all athletics, because to try to make it a level playing field, because certain schools had a better backing from boosters. So big schools like UConn, for example, UConn gonna have all the best boosters. They the hottest team. They're winning so much, so they're gonna have more money than, like, I would say, a Baylor. Baylor might not have as much money as UConn. So NCAA came up with a thing to try to make this thing like an even playing field. But she's finna go on and talk about the collectives. Listen to this.
Also, having Tara Vanderveer and Muffet McGraw on, who have now retired, they talked about feeling like the players' relationship with the game had become different. What was it for you about the change in the game that made you think, I'm not really interested in that?
Yeah, and I don't even really mind the transfer portal. To me, I think players should be able to transfer, maybe not every single year, but they
Exactly.
should have, a certain opportunity to transfer within their 4 or 5 year career. And it really isn't the NIL that bothers me. I think that if they're truly using their name, image, and likeness to earn money, they should be able to do that. They should have been able to do that for years and years. And
Mhm.
I think, we were so far behind. I don't know that we would be where we are today if we would have accepted that and embraced that earlier on. So I think it's the collectives, it's paying the players that bothers me. I feel like we've lost touch with collegiate athletics as far as why they're really there, and the value of an education and the value of lessons that you learn from participating in sport. And it's more about me. It's less about the team and the university and loyalties. And there's just
Right.
so many things to it.
Totally. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you ever, so far since you've left, had any regrets or pangs of jealousy while watching games?
Oh, wow. That was a good
I
question.
really haven't.
Good.
I know I'm kind of surprised about that, to be quite honest. I thought there would be a few.
Now, guys, we're going to fast forward this thing and listen to her speak about Caitlin Clark and the mania of the Caitlin Clark hype. Let's give it a buzz.
Go from that to where she is now.
Yeah.
What a journey, but I'm so proud of those three and all, some of the other great players that I had that haven't been able to make it in the WNBA, but that's your legacy, right? And that's what you're so happy for those guys.
You mentioned the change for Caitlin in particular, but for you, 20 plus years there, how did things change and how different did it feel the last couple of years as the madness around Caitlin grew for you as a coach who'd been in the same building space city, but watching everything blow up?
It was rewarding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what you dream of, right? It's what you want, what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve. And it really hit me when we had the crossover in Kinnick. People have asked me, like, what were your highlight moments? And, I mean, certainly the championship games were highlight moments. But the crossover in Kinnick to me is more meaningful because we took over Kinnick Stadium. We put a basketball floor down there, invited people to come in. And we had over 55,500 people there. And for that, there was women crying in the audience because they were so moved by what was happening for women's athletics. It was really touching. We raised $250,000 for the University of Iowa Children's Hospital. And it just showed us what we can accomplish when women come together and really support each other. And I think that's one of our most proud, moments that we had. And it was special.
No, I'm getting chills thinking about it because there are women from a different generation and era, and their excitement and emotion over what they're seeing now, particularly those who never really got the opportunity to fulfill or see.
You've lost your team. So here that she had. I think the best part about coaching Caitlin was just seeing her behind the scenes, just being a part of her life off the basketball court too. I mean, the basketball court provided all the wow moments, right? I mean, I got wow moments in practice, seeing some of the things that she did, the passes she made, and the scoring, and just the lack of fear that she had. But to me, the highlights is probably the fun times, being in COVID and going down to San Antonio and being locked in the La Quinta Hotel with your team.
Excuse me, I'm sure it wasn't Inns and Suites.
We had a slogan: live, love, life, La Quinta.
Amazing.
And that's what we lived by till we got to move over to the Marriott when we made the Sweet 16. But those are the times that you just remember is the goofy Caitlin, the Caitlin that is not on show, but just being herself. And because she honestly is one of the most enjoyable people to be around. She's funny.
Yeah.
She laughs hard and she loves big. And when she gets your trust, she loves big.
Toughest part about coaching Caitlin?
The toughest part is sometimes she can be a little stubborn. And as I can be as well. And so for, that can be this sometimes, but the good thing is that she was always willing to learn and she wanted to be her best. So she would take it. She took coaching, like she wanted to be coached. But the hardest thing, and I've said this before, is that, the transformation from high school to college, I don't think was really easy for her. She didn't understand how to play with other teammates because in high school, she did everything, on her own.
And you could win that way. Yeah.
Right. And so now it's like, well, you've got to embrace your teammates. One thing she said to me one time is, well, they're not shooting as much as I am. And I'm like, well, you're bringing them to the gym with you. Yeah. So she learned those things. She learned how to be a great teammate. And that was probably one of the hardest, lessons that we had to teach her. But now I watch her with the Fever and I think she's a great teammate. I mean, from the outside, at least, okay. I feel like, there's camaraderie there. I feel like there's joy for each other there. So I think those lessons she learned at Iowa have really gone with her to the WNBA.
Yeah, I'm a Chicago girl, so I don't make Michael Jordan comparisons very often, but there are a few things that stand out, whether that's the famous practice where her team was down and she came back and whatever it was, scored an insane number of points in 1 minute. We've heard about that with Jordan and the Dream Team practices, or if it's figuring out how to harness competitiveness and a desire for everyone to be as good as you are into making people better instead of frustrating them or condescending them. And we've seen that journey for her. It's really hard. It's not an easy thing to do, especially as a young person, but that ability to turn that into greatness instead of something that holds you back clearly is something she's continuing to work on, and it's just going to make her even better and better. Were you surprised in that first year of the W when she got to the Fever, the toxicity around that rivalry between her and Angel Reese and the way it sort of became the story of a league that had so much else to talk about?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I was disappointed in that because there is so much else to talk about. And these are two young women that are just starting their careers and, don't need that extra pressure or that extra, they don't need that. I mean, it was all created by the media and that's unfortunate for those two players. So I'm really sad that happened because I don't want the WNBA to get attention or get viewership because of those type of things. I want to get viewership because of the great play, the great game that we have. Let's support that and quit talking about this other stuff.
So that was Lisa Bluder, man. You guys can check out the full thing on Apple Podcasts. Sarah Spain, get down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts about this. Keep them bells on. I will be back with another one. And until next time, shake the haters off. Everybody have a great, fun, safe weekend. I'm out of here, baby. Peace out.